Gang stalking. Let's talk about it. This is something that's being done by non humans, okay? There's a certain way that these entities can hijack you, these entities that body snatch other people and hijack them through their chakras and through their energy. When you're on a certain frequency, you can be hijacked. And that is the phenomenon behind gang stalking. All of it. The directed energy weapons, the street theater, the grocery store mobbing, the one headlights, the car doors being open, the noise campaign, people following you and watching you in and out of stores and where you're going and stuff like that. Um, Synthetic telepathy, okay, all that. You want to know why synthetic telepathy is a thing? Because the beings that are gang stalking you that look like people that you think work for the government and all this and that, they're fucking not human. Okay? They are not human. They are an interdimensional species of a certain frequency. They feed on fear and anger. They're parasites. Okay? They're highly evolved, highly intelligent parasites, but they are parasites nonetheless. And they're just like the parasites down here. They're just like a wasp or a fly or a bee. Okay? You don't pay too much attention to an insect other than if it's going to sting you or if it's all in your face or, if there's like 1,000 gnats around. Like, obviously, you're not going to walk right through a thousand gnats flying, in the air. You're going to try to stay away from that. Not because you're scared, but just because they're going to irritate you or they're going to, do something that might throw you off, try to sting you or whatever, I mean, yeah, some insects can sting you. So it's the same thing with these beings. It's not that they're so scary. They use the frequency of fear to lure you, but they're not actually scary. It's just they use that frequency because that's what they are. That's what their consciousness is, okay? They are the frequency of fear and anger and all those lower emotions. In order to beat them at their own game, you gotta raise the vibrational frequency of your being. And it gets to the point to where you realize that you no longer can pay too much attention to them. Like, if you start raising your frequency, you start raising your energy and all that, and you still notice the gang stalking, right? Then you just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep raising the frequency. Keep raising your consciousness. Keep expanding. That's what is going on here. You're supposed to expand. You got to expand your consciousness. You're supposed to be going through an evolution of your consciousness if you are of a certain frequency. Okay? So, what is the other frequency outside of the gang stalking frequency or this reptilian insect frequency? Where there is a higher expanded frequency that you could call, you know, an indigo child or a light worker or earth angel, or there's so many names for it. Some of the names are kind of off-putting. I don't really like them, to be honest, but that's basically what you got to become. But you can redefine that. Like, you don't have to call yourself a light worker or earth angel or any of that crap. If you want to, sure. But you can basically just be an expanded being or be in the state of trying to expand to your highest point in human form. And who knows what that is? Nobody knows what that is. You can conceptualize that. You can say, oh, this is what I think it is. Nobody knows what that is. You have to find out what the limits are of your consciousness in human form. So, but that's basically what gang stalking is, okay? Yes, these people that are doing it, they look human, okay? The art of shape shifting is a real thing. There are lower dimensional beings from the fourth dimension that will target you when you try to wake up and expand your consciousness. But if you keep pushing, they cannot touch your frequency. They cannot operate properly out of fear when there is frequencies of peace being emitted out into the stratosphere, into the universe, okay? There's a balance here. There's a reason why there's duality here. You just got to find your place within the game of duality, okay? If you try to operate outside of the frequency you're supposed to be on, then you're gonna get messed up. Just as simple as I can put it. That's why these reptilian beings, these lower level beings, they thrive because they know what they are. Their fear, their anger, they're all of these lower frequencies, and they run that game to the grave till the wheels fall off. You know, they run that game and they got it sewed up, and you got to sew up your frequency. Okay, this is to anybody who's experiencing gang stalking. Okay, all you got to do is tighten up your frequency, and yeah, you might continue to see the gang stalking, you might continue to see the targeting, but it's going to get easier and easier to ignore and move past it, and eventually you're going to start seeing these people getting desperate at trying to get your attention. And when you no longer care, or when you get to that point of no longer caring on a deep level and you're just at peace no matter who's in your face, that's when you're going to really see some desperate attempts to try to steal your energy and steal your consciousness and your focus. That's what these energy vampires are after. These gang stalkers, and the gang stalking operation is run by fourth dimensional, low frequency, low consciousness, parasitic energy vampires. That's what they are. And they are highly evolved beings that can come in and out of the third dimension and whatever other dimensions. I know that there's a certain plateau where they are cut off and they can't access because the frequency is too high, or there's too much peace there, or whatever. They can't do their crap that they do, their little insect parasite crap. That only works when you're in a world where you can be a parasite. If there's nothing to feed on and the energy isn't right, you're going to die. And that's why you raise those frequencies up, because if they get too close, if they can't manipulate you because your vibration is too high, then they can't be around you, or they'll start to malfunction. They'll start to, they'll be looking around and, you know, trying to figure out what's going on because they can't function outside of their frequency of fear. Okay? Our government is run by these fourth dimensional entities. Okay? Some of our government has been body snatched because whoever was in those bodies originally, they were ignorant of what was going on, or they were just open vessels, or maybe they conjured up the reptilian beings to come body snatch them so they can gain powers or something like that. Some people want to encounter these beings because their life is out of control. They have no power over nothing. They feel helpless, and they think, you know, pulling out a Ouija board or lighting some candles in the forest or whatever, doing a ritual and conjuring these beings up is going to help them and give them more power. So some people get body snatched because they conjure up these beings and they don't know what they're getting themselves into. And sometimes people just get body snatched because they're living their life on such a low frequency that their portals, the portals of their being, their body, their cosmic body, okay, there's a universe inside you, all right? It appears that we are inside of the universe, but actually the cosmos is inside of you. And I guess you could say it's both. It's inside your body and it appears to be out here, but it's all just an infinite, intertwisted tapestry, so to speak. Or, as I like to put it, the atomic field. But, yeah, you got to protect your energy, okay? A lot of you have been targeted because you didn't protect your energy. And on top of that, you said some shit, or you pissed the wrong person off, or you pissed one of these reptilian insects off, or these bumblebees or flies. A lot of them are different variations of different species of highly evolved bugs and insects and fucking lower level critters, all right? And they look like that because they operate off of fear and anger and lower vibrations. So they'll appear as a reptilian or a bug or a bee or, you know, some type of demented animal or insect or something, or larvae or something like that, because that's the frequency they're on. An angel of light appears as an angel of light because that's the frequency it's on. And I don't even look to angels or pray to angels or anything like that. I'm not religious. I'm just saying, I'm just cosmically open-minded. I'm expanded in my awareness, so I understand a lot of things that are going on. That's why I say expand your mind, expand your awareness. but you have to protect your energy. You want to beat gang stalking? Raise those frequencies up. Expand your consciousness. Stop giving the gang stalking attention. The more you record people following you and making noises and doing all that, the more that you're overly too focused on it is the power that you're going to end up giving it. Now, sure, I had to learn this too, and I still make videos. Obviously, you're going to see this video and it's going to have gang stalking in the title. But see, when I'm done doing these videos, I take my mind off of this stuff and I go and I focus on something that has nothing to do with this. So I'm not continuing to feed entities, you know, or whatever, giving them a plug to plug into or a portal or whatever. It's like it's okay to talk about this stuff. See that loud truck? There's a dude that lives on the side of where I live, back that way. There's like a little alley right here and back up that way. And it's funny how he comes speeding by right when I'm talking about this stuff. So see, and that's the stuff that you hear other quote unquote targeted individuals talk about. You shouldn't identify as a targeted individual, okay, because you're not a victim, but you have to get to that level of awareness, all right? Even if you still experience it, what I'm telling you is when you raise your awareness, it's going to continue, but it's because they're now desperate. The gang stalkers, these beings, these people, they're desperate now. Once you start expanding, they get desperate because they don't want you to. They can't stop you once you're expanding. Okay? That's why they have to gang stalk you and energy vampire you and all that. Drain your energy. There's a reason for all that stuff. Directed energy weapons, all these noise campaigns, mobbing you in the grocery store. They have to keep you within a perimeter. And when you expand out of it, they're powerless because they are a fear-based frequency species. Okay? That's been here for a very long time, but probably not as long as whatever expanded beings were on this planet before they showed up, because they're parasites. Okay? They have to parasite off of higher beings, expanded beings, because they're parasites. That's what parasites do. They need something else to thrive. They have to suck the life out of something else that's greater than them. That's a parasite. That's the life of a parasite. But yeah, so a dude comes up the alley as I'm talking. So when you watch this video, you'll hear that. The truck all loud and stuff. And this is why I've learned not to give this shit power outside of making the video, because I got to get this content out. I have a lot of information on this. I've suffered with gang stalking for 7 years now. It was my own little personal tribulation, but the return of the big man is here, so to speak. Now that the tribulation is over, the return of the expanded consciousness is here now. And I'm about to mop the floor with my enemies in consciousness, and they know it. But yeah, I'm just here to empower people, and whoever watches this, there's going to be many more of these videos to come about energy vampirism, gang stalking, and all this, because someone needs to expose what's really going on. And I have experienced how these beings operate, the weapons that they use, the tactics that they use, the dumb shit that they use to ruin your frequency or lower your frequency. It's all out of desperation, because if they lose control of you, if they lose you out of the frequency of fear, if they can't hold you there, or anger or sadness or some type of lower emotion that they hook your heart with, and your solar plexus, your heart chakra, your solar plexus, your crown chakra. Okay, I used to have people staring at me all the time, and still do in public. It's because they were trying to attack my third eye, the Ajna chakra, okay? The inner being of my being, my inner consciousness, all right? The eternal point of attention that I really am as a soul or a spirit. So that's what it's about. And when you expand your consciousness, you can make videos like this. You can talk about this, and then as soon as you're done, you put the information out there, because there are people who need to hear this. You know, once you expand, you can help others. You can't expand people if you're in a contracted state. You're going to be down here. You can't help people who need to be up here. You got to learn how to be up here first. But you also got to experience being down here, because once you get up here, or you start to rise up here, you know what to do, and you know the information to put out, just like I do. So with that said, I hope this helps somebody. There's more videos to come. I'm one of the real ones that's here to tell you the truth. I ain't trying to get paid on here or anything like that. I do want to get some type of views so people can view this. So please view the video. As far as any of that other stuff, if it happens, cool. If not, I don't care. I'm just here to put the information out. And if you find it helpful, if you just thought to yourself that gang stalking is strange and you often wondered if it was more than just the government behind it and all that, you were right. And don't let anybody call you crazy. Matter of fact, you don't owe anybody an explanation for anything. All you got to do is expand your consciousness. There are different ways to do that. I'm going to share it in another video. I hope you get something out of this though, all right? Oh yeah, I already did make a video about the contracted and expanded states of consciousness when trying to manifest. So go check that video out. It's somewhere below this video in my listing of videos on my channel that I've uploaded over the last month or two or whenever. Anyways, till the next one.